we've been saying you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. That sort of is some maybe inspiration to make you want to do some calibration. But mostly what we want you to know is what calibrating is just feeling for the emotion that feels better by offering thoughts that induce emotion. Because you think thoughts and then you have an emotional response. And the reason that you have an emotional response to every thought you think, to every perception in every moment, to every word you speak, to every word you hear, to everything you focus upon, you have an emotional response. You do. The emotional response is somewhere on the emotional scale, and it's all about this and only about this. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. That part of you still remains source energy, even though you are here in this physical body. And that source energy part of you is aware of you all day, every day, everything that you're living. And your inner being has, you might call it an opinion, a perspective of whatever it is that you are experiencing. And that perspective is always pure positive energy. It is never ridden with resistance. So in every moment in time, there is this potential for calibration for you going on. And the reason that we give this responsibility, you might call it, opportunity, we like to call it, to you, is because your inner being will never calibrate to your problem. Esther tried for a long time to get us to understand what she meant. She'd say, clearly, Abraham, you need more information about this because you're stubbornly remaining optimistic. But since your inner being, who is pure positive motion and pure positive energy, meaning resistance-free, will not join you in your hatred or your meanness or your vulnerability or your insecurity or your feeling of sacrifice, when you find some reason to feel that way, what you're actually feeling is a separation. That's really too strong a word, because you're never going to be cut loose from your inner being. Sometimes when you feel real bad, you might wish you could get cut loose, because the reason you feel so bad is because your inner being feels so good. Really, Abraham, this is the time to tell me that? The reason you feel so bad is because you have become something so different than what you are calibrating to right now, that there's a tug of war going on inside of you. And your only option is to let go of the thought that is causing this separation, or move in the direction of what will close that gap. And so that's the game that we are calling calibration. In other words, deliberately reaching for thoughts that feel better. Deliberately reaching for thoughts that feel better. And noticing when you find one that does. It sounds so simple, but there is a vibrational science or physics behind it. And these things are always true. At your source, you are pure positive energy. You cannot remain at your source because you came intending to explore, to evaluate, and to decide, to find new things that you desire. And so you knew that there would be a brief time when your exploration of life would show you what you don't want. And you also knew, as you made the decision to come into this time and space, that when you defined or calibrated to a problem, you would simultaneously be calibrating to a solution. And you knew that you would then have the choice of which direction you would give your attention to. You knew that your emotional guidance system would help you to know. But somewhere along your physical trail, others have been so sure in their determination that you are unworthy and that you are bad, and they usually think that they are too, that they've given you a whole list of things to do and have not encouraged you to pay any attention to how you feel. This next sentence we're going to give you is going to be maybe the most meaningful thing you've ever heard on your new path of deciding that you're going to be a calibrator. You became a manipulator of circumstances and words rather than a calibrator of vibration and energy. And you got good at it because you are a harmonizer and you do want harmony, And if you're not factoring in the bigness of who you really are, if you're not factoring in the wholeness of who you really are, if you're not knowing what your emotional guidance system is about, if you don't know that negative emotion means you're not under the influence of this calibration, you're under the influence of some other. And what happens is, you're so wonderful. You are creators who do turn thoughts to things. And you are in love with the things that you've turned the thoughts to. And because you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, that part of your world seems like the dominant part of your world. It seems like the way to go. It seems like saying things and doing things and getting other people to do things, which is what we are calling the manipulation of physical stuff, seems like the way to get things the way you want them to be and to live happily ever after. And certainly we don't disagree that someone who's paying attention and doing things on purpose is better off than someone who isn't. We're just saying there is so much better way of going about this, that if you will get to the heart of who you are and you will calibrate to your power and your clarity and your strength and your love, then you will have that energy that creates worlds flowing through you, and the cooperative components that you attract, that you gather to you, will be those that are in vibrational harmony with who you really are and what you really want. Does that make some sense to you? So we're eager to talk with you about anything that you want to talk about, and together we will calibrate. We don't want you to feel guarded about where you are, because there's a very strong likelihood that you want to talk about some situation where the situation has calibrated you away from where you want to be. And so a conversation about that is helpful, because we will show you how to find a vibration that is moving in the direction of your solution. And once you get the hang of this, you'll be mad for it. You'll be obsessed with it. And once you discover your own personal power of calibrating to your strength and to your clarity, you'll never want to be wishy-washy or not clear again. You will want to be the deliberate creator that you were born to be. And with some very easy to identify tools and some very easy access of application of these tools, you can leave vibrations in different places so rapidly that what comes around you will be remarkably different right away. Because what you're emanating now is your point of attraction. So it's not the past that is plaguing you. It's your current attention of unwanted things in the past that causes you to continue to calibrate to unwanted things.